Well, that was creepy. Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully, and welcome back to the Silent Hill Shattered Memories commentary. Yeah, that's... well, that scene with the cinema is actually one that's subject to change, depending on what sort of alignment you go for, and, well, I mean, let's just say, aside from Dahlia's message of, kiss me, hold me, thrill me, da-na-na-na-na, do you... I can believe I forgot how the U2 song goes. But anyway, yeah, we're out of the mall, we're free as fish, and, to go back to the cinema thing, yeah, you can actually have a couple of phone calls and get different, like, movie texts, depending on what sort of thing happens. And also, that image of, Harry's face actually does kind of change. Again, one of the more effective scares of the game, in a game that is quite lacking in terms of horror, but, again, you take the effective ones where you can, because it kind of comes right the fuck out of nowhere, and, well, I mean, to be honest, I kind of wish the normal world had a few more scares like that. But again, I think I say too much. But in the meantime, what is this? It seems we have another Le Echo message. Come on, Harry, we must take the photo. Get out of the map. Come on, don't make a liar out of me. There we go, that's the ticker. Now, let's see what became of the dog we got for our dear little doubter.
We hit something.
Oh, shit.
What is it?
It's...
Oh, shit.
What do I tell her?
And so that's what became of the dog that we, got for the kid. It got ran over, and now Dave's gonna have to explain it to her. I don't fancy being in their shoes when they do that. The Green Lion Antique Shop. Doesn't that sound familiar? That's also where we found the pathway to the other church. And is, apparently where Harry has been taking residence as of recently. Quite strange, but, you know, I mean, Harry did say it wasn't a good neighborhood, which actually kind of makes it interesting that it's near a mall of all things. I mean, I guess that's probably part of the reason why they have security guards, but I mean, even still, like, the fact that this place isn't really in a good area, it seems a bit counterintuitive from, like, I don't know, like a business perspective. Well, unless, of course, I have a lot of, like, hot deals for low-income families, I guess. Whatevers. Can't really say for certain. And again, more saving, more loading, and nothing really to be interested in terms of puzzles. And thus, that's how we got our keys, which seems like a bit of a very... actually, is the implication meant to be that, this place is owned by Dahlia? I mean, in a connection to the previous game, and, you know, considering Harry's writing profession, I guess that might be the implication? I don't know, just... Actually, you know what, yeah, that does make a lot more sense now that I think about it. Devil May Cry. Is the only thing I can think of when I look at that, even if it's not one for one, but, fuck it. But alas, now we can get more mementos in the bento box. We Ouroboros, signed Albert Wesker. But anyway, now that we've returned to Harry's luxurious household, we can finally get the plot moving. Well, stuff that we've pretty much already done at this point, but now things are gonna start to make a little more sense. There's that mascot Toucan Sam Harry bought for Cheryl. It's all starting to add up. Could it be that Harry was the one in that phone call? And look, he's even got a limited edition platinum cover of Shattered Memories, the game he's starring in. This is all really strange.
Cheryl? Sweetie, is that you? You'd been gone for so long, I started to worry. Sweetie? Hello? You here for my daughter? Harry?
How do you know me? Where's Cheryl?
Still at the lighthouse, maybe.
Lighthouse?
What are you doing here, Harry?
Looking for Cheryl. Isn't this my house? Who are you?
You look really good.
Who are you?
We're soulmates, you and I. For richer, for poorer. In sickness and in health.
You're my wife?
Rest easy, sweetie. Oh god, it's in for another otherworld sequence. So yeah, as we can tell, Harry's dear daughter isn't here, and yeah, to clear things up a little bit here, that's... Well, again, that's kind of a weird incarnation of Dahlia. I don't know what that's meant to represent, whether that might be like an in-between phase between Dahlia as she is now, or perhaps Dahlia as a certain somebody is going to see her as. It's weird. We also have a reminiscent stairway to the depths of your psychological processes, as seen in the world-famous Silent Hill 2. And, yeah, again, like, I mean, I would say that no, not Shadow Memories. I will say that Silent Hill Downpour was probably the only game that ever did this homage right, but I mean, you know, powerful symbolism and metaphors where they're apt. And again, like, I mean, it's not as if Team Silent was the first person to ever really envision that kind of, abstract sort of artistic process kind of thing, because, you know, descending into the depths of your mind is a bit of a universal thing. That being said, again, I was talking about scares earlier, but we do actually get a pretty decent rip of one right here, actually. Just as soon as we copy the Stairway to Hell thing. My voice just cracked. I'm not gonna do that anymore, but I mean, yeah. It's also one that's here, but like, there's also another one coming up which I think does it a little bit more effectively, but... who was that we just saw in shadow form? Could that girl be entering the Shadow Zone? Leave me alone now, Shadow Zone. Yeah, as you can probably tell, I'm actually really excited for the release of Static X's Project Regeneration, which is coming out, next, sorry. Kind of forgot what time I was recording this for. Coming out, in 2020. Again, the teasers have been all about the place, and, well, yeah. As a fan of the band Static X, I'm excited as hell for it. But again, this Otherworld sequence can be kind of annoying. Actually, hang on a second. Oh, I guess I can't quiet it down while I'm recording, so, well, this is gonna be fun. But yeah. Again, I guess to kind of go into what I was talking about earlier. Well, I mean, first of all, the Rorschachs are back. And basically the gimmick of this one is basically having to search for... Well, actually no, the Rorschachs aren't back yet. I was skipping ahead a little bit. Again, basically what you're going to be doing here is that you have 4 different doors. And you're looking for the door that has the most ice collected on the top. And that will lead you to safety / the next part of the plot. And I will say, like, in terms of creativity, this Otherworld does actually have a bit of creativity to it, because, you know, like... The rooms that you're seeing here, it kind of does a Silent Hill 4 kind of thing, where it kind of shifts the rooms around a little bit and warps the dimensions, which again, bit of inspired art design, and does make this one of the more memorable Otherworld sequences. So, yeah, I mean, you do still have the chases, but it does also kind of go to show exactly the sort of, you know, the sort of thing that I think the Otherworld sequences and Shadow Memories needed a bit more of, in the sense that you're doing more than just running away. And again, I guess the game's proposition to fix that was to have... you know, the mission thing, like when you had to, you know, be the paparazzi and get photos. Don't know why I have to talk about it like that. But I mean, in any case, it's essentially, again, like, it's something that I think they honestly could have used a bit more refinement, and I guess maybe, instead of going for stuff like, you know, missions or that kind of thing, like with the Toucan Sam kind of thing, instead make it a little bit more labyrinthian and coming across a couple of, you know, odd set pieces here and there. Because doing that, I think, would honest to God mitigate some of the, I guess the padding, if you could call it that, because I don't want to say that these sections feel like the least important bit of their own game, but it does come across as one of the more video gamey aspects of Shadow Memories, in the sense that, you know, in the attempt to try and portray itself as like a horror game, it has to have running away from monsters, which are just trying to hug you, but I don't know. I guess in the same vein, like how classic Doom isn't all just shooting action, but also, you know, exploring around and solving puzzles. I guess maybe Shadow Memories could have done something like that by having specific segments where the Rorschachs aren't chasing you, and you go through labyrinthian areas while getting psyched out by psychological horror scenes, kind of like the one we saw a little bit earlier, actually. But again, like, I mean, I'm not too angry at Shadow Memories for not being able to meet the balance right, you know, as it stands, because, I mean, I think the game does a serviceable enough job with what it is, but, again, as I kept on saying, there is a lot of potential for expansion with the Shadow Memories 2 that could refine some of these issues, and at the same time also really add on bits and pieces to really improve the formula, and go, Harry, ride that hobby horse away from the monsters, and, yeah, as you as you can probably tell, I'm going to die. Like, I mean, I will say that, like, I mean, I think this area is nowhere near as hard as you're seeing right here, but, you know, when you're in the heat of the moment and, you know, you're busy trying to shake off monsters, I don't know. It's another thing entirely, because, like, I mean, I can't see people, you know, criticizing these segments as being, you know, generic chase horror scenes that people can shake off no problem, but I mean, and I guess, how can I put this? I guess in kind of like a Five Nights at Freddy's kind of way, like when you're in the heat of the moment and you're busy trying to, you know, juggle several tasks at once, it does play hell on your nerves, and if you're not one for multitasking, you know, it does kind of, well, I mean, it does get the anxiety flaring up a little bit. And thus we see the fall of Harry Mason. I still think the Rorschachs could have been done a little bit better justice, though. I mean, in the sense that they're meant to be monsters who, you know, just tackle Harry down, and yeah, this was what I was talking about earlier, actually. Everything is getting a little bit more upside-downer. Kind of like that one room of Silent Hill 4, actually, when you saw the all the areas laid upside down. This area, I think, is actually quite creepy, though, as you go through the different halls with the repeating assets. Oh, and people say that the playable teaser was original. No, Kojima was just ripping off Shattered Memories. The fucking hack. And in fact, you know what? I honestly gotta think that Shattered Memories did this better than Kojima did, because, like, I mean, the whole hallway sequence, you know, like when you encounter the Eraserhead baby and, like, the ghost woman, which was probably due to Guillermo del Toro's influence, I don't know, seems kind of derivative, and that's, again, not to go off into too big of a tangent here, it's kind of a problem I have with Kojima in general, in the sense that, like, some stuff that he creates feels original, other stuff just feels derivative of the movies he watches. I mean, I guess that's kind of true for all media and creators to a certain extent, but he does it kind of blatantly. But again, that's a story for another time, and pay close attention here, as you see the film reel. Go down, come on, don't make a liar out of me. Harry Mason collapsing on the floor. Like, I mean, again, I know you could probably misconstrue that as being a whole, like, horror scene in the generic vein of, we're children, we're children, we're children! Kind of vibe, but again, like, I guess maybe it's more so the fact that you kind of don't really... I guess maybe the fact that it's more of a repeated theme here kind of makes it a little bit more, tense. It's like, I mean, I think there is something to be said about a game that doesn't present itself as being overtly scary, but then, when it has that whole sort of, like, you know, the whole dread sort of wham line, it hits you in a way that you don't really expect, and again, to kind of, play hypocrite a little bit here, to point out Metal Gear Solid 2, actually. Again, a game that's pretty much all about, like, mental trickery and, you know, manipulating you to believe things that ends up going beneath the surface. Again, like the whole Arsenal Gear thing. Testament to Kojima's genius and why the man is someone I both love and hate. Whatever. Again, I think I'll save all of that for when I get around to MGS2 later this year, because, well, it's my favourite Metal Gear Solid game of all time, and I'm excited. And I suppose I might as well bring it up now, considering the fact that I've had it running all throughout the commentary, with the Flare Invincibility themes. I kind of ran out at this point, because I don't think Sonic Unleashed has an Invincibility theme. I think Generations does, but it's just kind of a remix of Sonic 1. And, I kind of wanted one that was a little bit more energetic and action-packed, but I couldn't really find one that wasn't like this pseudo-classic Sonic kind of thing, so instead I kind of picked the double boost from Sonic Forces, and, well, I ran out of Invincibility themes, and I didn't want to have one that didn't match, so, fuck it. Don't even know why I did this, really, but, hey, just gotta find some way to have some editing fun. Those scares are actually quite effective, actually, like when you have the Rorschachs, poke through the door. I don't know, I just love... I don't know, it just gave me a bit of a fright the first time I saw it, and, I don't know. It's something that Shadow Memories, I think, does well, even if it doesn't do it very often, that it just... it picks the right moments to surprise you, and, again, I suppose there's probably something I could also dissect for the time that we have left here as we run through this, and that's mainly to do with, Shadow Memories' dichotomy with, horror, really. Because, like, I mean, unlike a game like, say, Silent Hill 2, or... no, not Silent Hill 2. Unlike a game like Silent Hill 3, or, Homecoming, debatably, there's nothing here that's outright threatening or overtly scary in the direct sense of, you know, confronting horror. And I mean, likewise in Silent Hill 1, Downpour, and, you know, Silent Hill 2 and all that sort of case, there also isn't really a lot of horror that tends to get under your skin and make you nervous as all hell, save for a few specific segments. So I guess that also kind of brings to question, you know, Shadow Memories not being scary enough to live up to the Silent Hill name. I would kind of argue against that in the sense that it still portrays the same sort of psychological themes, albeit doing it differently. But I mean, again, something I think I've alluded to all throughout the commentary, because Shadow Memories was actually meant to appeal to a more casual consumer base. Again, the fact that it was being released with the Nintendo Wii and, you know, eventually given ports to the PS2 and all that, again, it was meant to appeal to people who maybe aren't exactly the best at handling horror games, or at least not to the same extent of people who would, you know, say, complete runs of, you know, Dead Space, Resident Evil, or the previous Silent Hill games. So, again, like, I mean, I do think there's a benefit and a negative to that in the sense that the sort of scares that you're getting, if you're an experienced horror veteran, they're not going to be something that's going to make you, you know, absolutely anxious or top any of your favorite survival horror games of all time. But at the same time, though, I think there is something to be said about games like Shadow Memories, and I guess to a vague extent also the games in the Heavy Rain sort of cinematic experience kind of ilk. In the degree that, you know, the games that are there for the casual audience to maybe get a taste of what Silent Hill is about, while not exactly being the full-blown, you know, sort of extreme kind of stuff. I mean, again, you can make the argument why you playing the game in the first case, why are you playing the game in the first case if you didn't want to get scared, but I mean, I don't know, like, I mean, if you've ever tried to introduce, like, I guess maybe like some obscure video games or stuff that you're really into but somebody else is kind of hesitant towards, and, you know, they don't really get into some of the more, like, obscure stuff, like, say, for example, if you wanted to get somebody into Silent Hill through, I guess, Silent Hill 3, and again, because the gameplay is a little bit more difficult, if a bit bullshit, given some of the complaints I brought up in the review. I don't know, like, maybe I could see some people maybe having a bit of a problem with that in terms of, you know, actually getting into it. But I think Shadow Memories, with its relative ease of play, I think would be enough to get non-gamers into the series, or to at the very least kind of appreciate it and maybe subtly introduce them to some of the more, you know, gameplay-heavy Silent Hill games. I don't know. It's a bit of a weird topic that I've kind of had on the brain every now and again. I guess maybe depending on whether or not people are, you know, core consumers of video games and people who are just there to pick it up and have fun, you know, if they happen to pick it up on a Friday night or whatever. Whatevers. I'm out of breath.
Cheryl, this is your room. But you're not in it.
You know, I think we're getting somewhere. We're all tied up in this marriage thing. Marriage worked a lot better when we didn't live so long. We have phrases like the honeymoon is over to remind us how quickly marriages sour. You think I'm being cynical? Divorce does that to you. Come on, you think marriage can really last?
Debatably.
Should a couple stay together for the kids?
That is some very dark territory, but I'm gonna say no.
Do you think it's a bad idea to marry young?
That kinda depends, buddy.
You think sex becomes stale after marriage?
Give me about 5 minutes and a plate of churros and I will blow your mind.
You know what? You being such an expert on marriage, you're going to ace my matchmaker test. On the table are 6 pictures. All you have to do is sort them into 3 married couples.
Cortman's asking the tough questions here, and also giving us a bit of a window into his past with many failed marriages, which I'm sure has aided in his psychological evaluation, but, yeah, asking the tough questions, guess if I could kind of elucidate a little... Yeah, I don't really know what to say, because, I mean, obviously, I'm not married, and, that probably won't be susceptible to change, depending on whether or not I live for the next, like, 5 to 6 years, assuming I'm still alive by that point, but, yeah, I don't really think I'm in any real position to point anything out, but let's just say that, see, look, those guys won't make for a nice married couple, they, move each other out of their spot, so, yeah, I guess to kind of, conclude things, well, I'd say we're coming close to the end of the game now, so on that note, I'm Solidus-Skully, keep it new metal, and next time on the Silent Hill Shattered Memories commentary, well, hopefully less awkward questions than stuff about marriage, so catch you next time, dudes and dudettes, bye-bye.
Okay. Now tell me which of those couples are still together. I'm joking. You know I'm just trying to provoke you, right? Oh, let's keep going. We're really making progress here.